If your connections keep breaking down, it's not them, it's you. And until you fix this, no relationship you're in will ever be stable.
We're going live, baby.
We'll do it live.
You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host,
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer. He is a certified master life coach and NLP practitioner.
What's going on, guys? It's Friday. Can I get a hell yeah? Can I get a hell yeah for Friday? A lot of you guys missed an awesome beer club last night. And if you're not in beer club, what are you even doing with your life right now? All right. And beer club guys, if you're watching right now, drop a 1 in the chat. Let the folks know that you're here. Guys, if you are new to the channel, my name is Paul Bauer and I help men level up and get better with women. And the funny thing about doing that is it tends to make us better men in all areas of our lives. You know, for a lot of guys, relationships, whether with friends, family, or others, often feel unpredictable and unstable. You wonder why people pull away, why they overreact, or why they stop showing up altogether. You do everything you know to connect, but somehow things still manage to unravel. It's exhausting, it's confusing, and maybe you've asked yourself, is it just them? Am I just unlucky? But the hard truth is, unstable relationships almost always trace back to unstable internal frameworks. If you haven't developed emotional resilience and reprogrammed outdated paradigms, then even the best connections will eventually fall apart, leaving you feeling frustrated and powerless. All right, today's show is going to change all that because I'm going to reveal why stability starts from within, the hidden paradigm sabotaging your relationships right now, and most importantly, step by step, how to rebuild your internal framework so you naturally create harmony, respect, and deep trust with others without needing to force anything. All right. And then by the end of this live stream, you'll understand exactly what makes certain men magnetic and unwavering and how you can become that man. All right. So stay with me because in the final segment, that's where I'll show you the critical shift that 99% of men miss. And without this, no relationship will ever truly be stable for you. All right. Now, before we get into it, do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And what I've been doing lately is Dead Bedroom Mondays, been doing Breakup Wednesdays, and then as always, Frame Fridays. So today's Frame Friday, which means we're talking about our mindsets today, right? Guys, if you're watching live right now, sound off in the chat. I want to hear from you. If you guys have questions, I can bring it up on the screen. You can be a part of the show, but do consider sending that as a super chat. 1, because that helps support the show. And then 2, it's actually highlighted in the back end over here and I can see it better. And so if there's a whole bunch of you guys being chatterboxes there in the chat, I'll be able to see your question if you got a serious question. Okay. All right. And then guys, my book, Forget That Bish. It comes out June 6th. All right. You can pre-order it on Kindle now. All right, guys, let's talk about why instability around you often mirrors instability inside you. Okay. Let's talk about why emotional fragility is often subconscious, right? It's one of the things that I talk about in psychology paradigm. You guys haven't gotten that yet. Psychology paradigm. We're born with a blank slate, basically, right? You're born when you come out of your mother's womb, all you're programmed with are your genetics, your DNA, right? And that does have certain programming for your, instincts and survival and that kind of stuff. But after that, you are basically a blank slate and you are a walking subconscious mind. All right. And up to a certain age, everything's just going directly into your subconscious, forming these paradigms. And you'll continue forming paradigms for the rest of your life. But early on, you're really susceptible to a lot of this stuff. And a lot of your beliefs, a lot of your habits, especially when it comes to interacting with people and strangers and, relationships, all that kind of stuff, you do out of habit based on your paradigms. One of the things that I often tell people is that most of us learned our relationship habits from our parents. You watched your parents growing up. You watched how your dad interacted with your mom. You watched how your mom interacted with your dad, and you picked that kind of stuff up. And that created your reality of how relationships are supposed to work, right? And one of the things that I realized on my journey, and if you guys didn't know this, I've been working on this stuff for a decade now, going through struggles, learning how to be different, learning how to understand relationships and attraction, learning psychology and all that kind of stuff. It's been a decade-long struggle to where I am now, where I'm able to sort of talk about this stuff. But one of the things that I learned through my own journey was that I picked up terrible relationship habits from my folks. My dad is very passive aggressive. He's not assertive. He does a lot of covert contract type stuff, and my mom resents him, and then she nags the crap out of him because, she has no respect for him, basically. The other day, just to give you guys a little inside baseball, my mom is obsessed with weeds. All right. This is cow pasture problems, right? When you live out in the cow pasture, this is stuff that we worry about out here. Like, my mom's obsessed with with weeds, and there's a particular invasive weed species out here called white top. And it's basically invaded my backyard. Right. And it's annoying, but it doesn't bother me as much as it clearly bothers her. And she's obsessed over it. And anyway, she wants to help spray the white top in my yard. And she's like, okay, I'm going to mix up a tank and we're going to put it on the back of the 4-wheeler and I'm going to let you dump spray it and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, sounds good, Mom. I'll come over Sunday. I'll grab the ATV and drive it down here and I'll do that. And then my dad separately sends me a message going, hey, if you're going to dump spray that, you should mix this chemical with this chemical. I think that'll work the best. I'm like, okay, well, Mom's planning on mixing it all up for me. And they don't talk to each other, right? They don't talk to each other. They each talk to me individually, and then I've got to talk to the other one, right? So my dad, he says, okay, you should mix in some arsenal with the TLAR. TLAR is what kills the white top, and then arsenal is basically ground clear. It kills everything else. He's like, yeah, if you mix it together, it's a super powerful thing. It'll wipe out all the other plants around there, and then you can put your artificial turf down that you want. I'm like, okay, sounds good. I'll let Mom know because she's going to mix it. So then I reach out to my mom and I go, hey, by the way, Dad says to mix arsenal with the TLAR. Since you're the one mixing, I thought I'd let you know. And she's like, oh, well, I don't know about that. I'm going to have to talk to my chemical guy and make sure. And I go, do you not trust Dad's judgment? Like, he does this kind of crap all the time. You don't trust his judgment. Now you're going to second guess your own husband and go and ask your chemical guy. Like, my dad's done this before. He's no spring chicken to this kind of crap. But because she has no respect for him, she immediately second guesses him and then goes and does X, Y, and Z. Right. So back to the topic of our paradigms, that was my normal growing up. And so when I ended up getting married when I was 20 years old, I wasn't even old enough to buy alcohol, right? When I got married when I was 20 years old, I thought that's how life was. Your wife just, everything's hot and heavy in the beginning. You become a beta plow horse. She walks all over you and nags you for the rest of your fucking life, right? That's normal. That was my paradigm, okay? It's subconscious. I thought that was just the way relationships are supposed to be. They are not. Okay. Your habits, beliefs, and automatic reactions push people away without you realizing it. So I have a lot of the same types of behaviors that my parents have, as you probably do too, right? That's why when you get to a certain age, people often say you're turning into your mother or you're turning into your father, right? And they have those insurance ads on TV where the guy's talking about like you're turning into your parents. It's because of our paradigms that happens. Well, my dad is naturally the kind of guy that he's pretty friendly with people, but eventually he rubs them the wrong way for whatever reason. And that's always been kind of my MO. right? I always eventually rub people the wrong way. I still do, right? I'm not perfect with that, but that's something that if you notice that everyone in your life, every relationship you ever have, people stop wanting to hang around with you, like that's you. There's something that you're doing that's driving those people away. Like you're actually actively repelling those people, and there's a lot of that is your behavior and your attitude. And like, are you a negative person? Like my dad is one of the most negative guys on the planet, right? If he didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all. Like everything sucks, everything F this. He's already wanting to die. He still has a good probably 20 years left, right? And he's already like, oh, my friends are dying. I just want to crawl over and crawl up and die. And it's like, dude, like what is your problem? You know, it's just a negative Nancy. That kind of stuff drives people away. Okay. That's why one of the reasons why in this space, we try to talk about frame control, right? Having frame control, having being more centered, being more immovable, being more in control of your emotions, because that actually helps strengthen your masculine presence. And if you are unshakable, you're less likely to be pushing people away. In fact, people are going to be drawn to you because you have your shit together, right? You at least appear like you have your shit together, right? So that's one of the reasons why we're really big on not being so reactive, being more like doing stuff like the 3-second rule, being able to control instead of reacting to things, being able to respond to things more logically and clearly, because people will trust you more if you have more control over yourself, and that control over yourself appears like control over your situation and your environment. People naturally look to you as someone who doesn't get rattled easily. You're probably a good leader, and they'll follow your lead more. Like they just are naturally drawn to people like that. Okay. So those are some of the traits that we try to teach in this space, or at least I do. A lot of guys in the red pill space just want to teach you to look for shitty women everywhere and how women ain't shit and whatever. Like, I'm like, no. Like, that's not what this whole red pill thing's about. It's not about that. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. At least it is for me. Okay. Let's talk about some real life examples. There's a guy who's turning things around. Okay. This is one of the reasons why I really want to invite a lot of you guys to join our beer club community. If you guys have been listening to the podcast for a long time, if you guys have been regulars, at least for a year, you probably have heard me talk about this guy in our beer club group who self-described himself as someone who violently disgusts women. Right. He literally said this last year, and it was such an interesting description of himself and what was going on in his life that I was like, wow, what are you doing that makes you violently disgust women? You know, like you have to be like an uber creeper to get to that point. Because most women, even though you might see some videos where women talk about like, don't approach me and I don't want guys coming up and whatever, that's all nonsense. Women just don't want ugly guys coming up to them, right? They don't want guys that lack confidence coming up to them. But if you walk up to a girl, you're confident, you're sure of yourself, she's going to want to talk to you. Okay. Like she's going to be cool about it. And if you don't approach her in a creepy way, like she's going to be cordial with you at the very least. Okay. So that kind of stuff is kind of ridiculous. But my man was sure that he was violently disgusting women. Like when he was at work, like his female coworkers wanted to would go give him a wide berth, go around his desk. If he was out at a restaurant, like waitresses would ask other waitresses to accompany them to his table because he was creeping them out so much, right? Well, my man, over the course of this last year in beer club and asking questions, this guy asks probably more questions than anybody else. This guy is coachable. I fucking love this guy. This guy, at some point, I want to say in November or December, something switched in his head, and he was like, I need to find a girl. I need to, you know, he had a moment of weakness. I guess he reached out to an ex or something like that, and then realized, crap, I shouldn't have done that. I need to snap out of this. I need to get back out of the dating circuit. I need to get serious about this, right? And so he hit the ground running. He was like, he updated his dating profile. He posted pictures in the chat. He let us all give him input. He changed his profile to be more effective based on input from guys in the group that were having success. Like, we have some guys in the group that are fucking killing it on dating apps. Okay. A lot of you guys are like, oh, dating apps don't work and dating app, blah. Like, you guys, it's because you guys don't know how to use them. Right. But we have guys in the group that are absolutely killing it on there. If you get in the group, we can crowdsource your dating profile and you'll actually have some success. Well, that's what my boy did here. And he started asking questions in the group. He started leveling up. He was going on dates. We're telling him how to act on dates, how to talk to women. He ended up within a couple of months, he's now seeing a girl, and he's already been seeing her for a couple of months now. And he's doing pretty good, but he still has these old paradigms that we all see it in the group, and we call him out on it all the time. This is another great reason to be a beer club, because we'll call you out on your bullshit, right? Well, he has these raging insecurities about women, and a lot of it, I think, is fueled by negative red pill content, where in negative red pill, like, if you constantly watch shows like Fresh and Fit and whatever podcast and whatever the bigger Jerry Springer type red pill shows are, they really hyper focus on the negative aspects of certain women. And so when you all you just see is that, you see it everywhere. It's your reticular activating system. When you're looking for negative shit, you're going to find negative shit. And so he's just constantly almost self-sabotaging this relationship every 5 fucking minutes. And we're always like, bro, like, he'll send a chat, right? Like a text conversation with her. And he's like, should I feel disrespected here? And we're like, no, bro, like, you're reading into that. She's not saying anything bad there, you know? Should I be worried about that? No, bro. Like, she's fine. Like, there's nothing in that conversation that would indicate whatever. Right. So my man he's still working through this kind of stuff, but you see how, if that's you, that's your paradigm, that's your mindset about relationships, you're going to start pushing people away and repelling people because you're always looking for something to self-sabotage the relationship. Okay. Now, let's see here. Why people naturally align with men who radiate grounded energy. Yeah. So guys who naturally radiate grounded energy, and what I mean by grounded energy is they've worked on their mental frame. They're only worried about controlling the controllable. They see certain things from their point of view. Anything outside of their mental frame is funny or amusing, right? They don't take anything seriously. They're not overly concerned with what their girlfriend's doing or not doing, right? They're just paying attention to her actions. And, you know, if she says something, they don't take it so seriously and it's not a big deal, right? They have these like effortless relationships. That's because you're not so wrapped up in your own insecurities, your own bullshit, your own attachment problems, right? Your own, whatever it is, you're naturally centered. That's the goal in this place, is in this space, right? Is to work on your sexual market value so much and your mental frame so much that nothing rattles you. And when you're that guy, people naturally want to be around you, right? People naturally feel more secure around you. They naturally feel like they can open up to you more, you know, stuff like that. Okay. But people who are reactive, that are always self-sabotaging, guys that have anger problems, right? And like all this kind of stuff, people like do not want to be around those guys. They absolutely don't. I can't stand people that just wallow in negativity all the time. I can't stand it. It just drains me. It drains me emotionally. I'm like, fuck, I have to listen to this shit. Like, no, thanks. You know, for people like that who are like close family members, like I said, my dad's a really negative person. My mom's also like, she's always focused on politics and stuff like that. I have to really limit my time with them because they are emotional vampires with their negativity. Okay. Don't be that kind of person. If you're that kind of person, you're always thinking about negative shit. And you're always thinking about doom and gloom and the world's going to fucking end tomorrow and all that kind of stuff. You are going to push people away. No one wants to be around that negativity. The moment you become predictable to yourself, solid and grounded. The world responds in kind. And then coming up, I'll show you the harsh truth about why men struggle with this and the simple shift that changes everything. Before we get into that, guys, do follow me on social media. The links are in the description. I'm on all the good platforms. If you guys haven't gotten it yet, get my free ebook, She's Made You Weak. It explains why attraction tends to erode over time in a long-term relationship. If you're in a dead bedroom situation right now and you're wondering why your wife is cold and distant, this book explains why that is. If you guys are recently divorced, if you guys are going through a breakup right now, you're separated and you can't stop thinking about your girl and you're trying to get her back, I also have an ebook for that too. I don't know if this is in the description or not, but if you go, what I've been noticing lately is people sign up for my ebooks and then Gumroad shows them the other ebook and they end up getting both. You can get both of these. They're both available right now, but the link's in the description for She's Made You Weak. At least get that one. And then my full books are available on Amazon or Audible. Get Her to Fuck You Again is available right now. There's also a workbook for that. Forget That Bitch. You can pre-order it now on Kindle edition. That's coming out June 6th. And I'm working on the audiobook right now. I just finished reading chapter 1 yesterday. It's this week has been really hectic. I'm trying to knock out 1 or 2 chapters a day, and I haven't been able to do that. So I'm at least up to chapter 1 right now of Forget That Bitch, but I'm going to get that audiobook out, trying to get it scheduled out so that it's out June 6th with the rest of the books, but we'll see how that goes. It's hard to line that up. But guys, today is Frame Friday. My book on Frame is this one, Psychology Paradigm. It's all about rewiring your subconscious mind to have more of that dominant masculine presence. Let me play a commercial for that real quick, and then we'll get back to the topic.
Have you ever felt like something's holding you back in your relationships? Like you're always on the back foot, struggling to connect with women? You're not alone. Many men are taught to be weak, to defer, to play small around women by their upbringing, by society, by the very world that shaped them. But what if you could break free from the invisible chains that have held you back? What if you could rewrite the script, reprogram the paradigm that's been running your life? This is your chance to step into the man you were always meant to be. In The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence, Psychology Paradigm by Paul Bauer, the first book in R.P. Thor's groundbreaking series, you'll learn how to understand and transform the paradigms that have shaped your life. You'll discover how to develop a dominant masculine presence, one that commands respect, inspires trust, and brings fulfillment to your relationships. Don't wait for life to change on its own. Take control. Order your copy of The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence, Psychology Paradigm now on Amazon. Available in hardcover, paperback, or on Kindle. This is more than a book. It's your roadmap to a life of purpose, strength, and success. Make the decision today. Reprogram your life and step into the man you were meant to be.
Yes, indeed. Brother CW from Beer Club's in the chat. He says, "Morning, everyone. Great Beer Club meetup last night." Hey, you guys were late this morning. I said, if you guys are in Beer Club, drop a 1 in the chat so people know who you guys are. Brother Omega, he says, "Morning, folks." Hey, Omega, were you on the call last night? You didn't pop on the screen. Were you lurking? Were you one of the lurkers? We have a lot of guys that just call in and just listen in. Like that's fine. If that's what you guys want to do and you don't want to share with the group, just want to lurk, that's fine too. Nurse Chick says, "Good morning, gentlemen." Nurse Chick gets this.
So naughty.
I'm gonna come.
And she knows that too. Let's see here. CW says, "I can only handle some friends and family in small doses because of how they are." Yes. Yeah. Same, brother. Same. All right. Let's talk about why fixing this is harder than you think, but it's crucial that you fix this. Okay. Most men believe that surface level confidence hacks will solve their issues. If you guys, there's so many guys when they're having problems with their wife or their girlfriend, or they get dumped, they immediately go to pickup artistry shit, right? I talk about this a lot in the podcast too. One of the greatest books of all time when it comes to pickup artistry is the book The Game by Neil Strauss. And one of the things that you find when you read the book The Game is it follows Neil Strauss around on his journey of going from a reporter to one of the top pickup artists in the country, going by the name of Style, right? Like it's Neil Strauss becomes Style, the pickup artist. And Neil, he first goes and joins I think a Ross Jeffries shop, right? And if you guys don't know who Ross Jeffries is the king of using neuro-linguistic programming to mesmerize chicks into getting them in bed quickly, right? Speed seduction. He was the king of speed seduction. And so he went and learned a little bit from Ross Jeffries and David D'Angelo. David D'Angelo was a student of Ross Jeffries, and then he went off and did his own double your dating practice for a while, made millions, and he has other business ventures out there now too, but he doesn't do that anymore. And then he went and studied under the legendary what's his name? Mystery, right? Mystery, the name of the pickup artist, this guy named Mystery. Well, as you follow the story of Neil Strauss learning pickup artistry from Ross Jeffries and Mystery, what you find is that they were learning these tips and tricks to get women to seduce women very quickly. A lot of that was surface level confidence hacks, right? Get yourself to appear more confident, appear more attractive, appear more interesting in front of these women, right? The problem with that is it might work. It might work for quick seduction and, same day lays. And, if you're just spinning plates, it's fine, right? But most men, including all the guys in the book, they wanted a deeper connection. A lot of these girls that they were seducing, they wanted something long-term with. And when it didn't work out, some of the guys had serious mental issues about it, right? Like Mystery, I think like 3 or 4 times in the book had a complete mental breakdown over one girl. It was one girl that he was like obsessed over, and he totally got one-itis for this one girl. And he could go out and sleep with all these other girls, but it was this one that he just couldn't lock down. And the thing is that his fake confidence, women can sniff that out. Women can, they're not stupid, right? That's why women test men. Women do these things called shit tests and comfort tests because they want to see if this facade that you're putting on is really who you are. So if you don't internalize it and you're not in alignment with it at a subconscious level, which is what psychology paradigm is all about, you have to make yourself in alignment with it. They are going to sniff it out. You are going to fail. They are going to see right through you, and they know that your confidence is fake. Okay. You have to make it a part of who you are. So deep-seated paradigms installed from childhood, trauma, and society, they end up sabotaging you even when you're trying to do better. I say this often. The biggest problem I see guys in the space do is they'll study this stuff long enough to start seeing some results, and then they quit. All right. They study this stuff just long enough to give themselves a surface level change of appearance. And then once they start seeing results, they get to what their goal is. A lot of guys, if they're out dating, their goal is to get into a relationship, get a girlfriend, right? If they are in a broken marriage, their goal is to fix the marriage, right? So when their wife starts responding positively, they think, oh, the work's done. And what happens is these guys fall back on old programming. These old paradigms start bubbling back up. They start acting unattractive again. They start doing the things that were pushing people away to begin with. Okay. This is why you have to reprogram this stuff. You can't just do surface level shit in order to get a little bit of success at the beginning, because that success isn't going to last. Okay. This is something I struggled with. This is something I absolutely struggle with, right? My ex-wife would probably describe me as someone that had anger issues, right? I still lose my shit occasionally. It's way less now than it was back, if you go back 15 years ago or even 12 years ago. Like I said, I've been working on this stuff for like a decade, right? I remember one time my son was probably 3 or 4, and he's sitting in the his car seat in the back. I was with Red Pill Chick. Red Pill Chick was next to me, and my daughter was in the back too. And my son had a whole cup of, I think, like Mountain Dew or something like that we got from like a gas station. We're on a road trip, or I can't remember what it was, but I distinctly remember my son dumping his whole entire fucking cup and just flooding the entire back floor area of my car. Right? He dumped his entire cup, the entire back, and it was like a decent sized cup too, just completely soda everywhere in the back. And I remember distinctly because Red Pill Chick was there, and this was like early on in the relationship. I was still trying to be on my best behavior kind of thing, right? So I saw that, and in my head, I wanted to just lose my shit at my son, because that was my MO, like, right? Just, what are you doing? But in that moment, I was like trying not to do that. So I held my cool, and I was just like, ugh. And I just didn't say anything, and I went back to driving. Right. And then my daughter goes, "Dad, you're handling this surprisingly well." But that's because she knows who I really was. At that time, I was a guy that was going to lose my shit. And they were lucky that Red Pill Chick was in the car, because I would have absolutely lost my shit at my kids on that. Right. Well, so my ex-wife was not wrong. I was a very angry guy. There was things that would set me off. I would get really mad very easily. Right. And the thing is that she, because of that reactivity, she didn't have a whole lot of respect for me, right? So she would second guess my decisions, which would then push me over the edge and make me more angry and defensive, which further validated her feelings that I wasn't in control enough for her to trust my judgments, right? So my weak emotional reactionary mindset would not project certainty. So if I was like, I could fix X, Y, and Z, or I'll take care of this problem or whatever, she wouldn't trust me to do that, because my reactivity and my anger wouldn't make her feel like I had things under control. I didn't even have myself under control. Okay. So then she would undermine me. She would call her mom. She would call her dad, like anybody except trust my judgment, which would piss me off even more. Right. Because I felt like she was stepping on my manhood. She didn't trust my judgment. Right. Well, if you're the guy who's reactionary, you don't make your wife or your girlfriend feel secure enough to trust your judgment. You aren't projecting that certainty of, hey, I got things handled, don't worry about it. You see where I'm going with this? If you are that guy who's like, hey, don't worry about it, babe, I got this, and you're calm and cool, and then she starts losing her shit, like, I don't know if, just, babe, I got it, don't worry about it, right? If you are calm and cool in that moment, she will trust you more. You are projecting certainty. Okay. I had the same problem with Red Pill Chick. It wasn't until, I took a step back, right after the relationship with Red Pill Chick, that I started studying all this stuff. And I realized that the problem wasn't with them being epic nagging bitches who didn't respect me. Right. Let's see. Let's say this. Red Pill Chick wasn't really a nagging bitch, but my ex-wife was. Okay. But still, it was me and my reactionary mindset to things. Okay. Once I learned to project certainty, not be so reactive and defensive, like everything's changed. Everything's changed in my life. It works in your working life. If you can make your boss sure that you know what you are doing, they will trust you to do your job. But if you have a boss that's constantly micromanaging you because they don't trust that you know how to do your job, you're not projecting that certainty, right? Nurse Chick, I would say, trust my judgment in everything, because I put out the vibe that I got shit handled, right? When I cracked the code, everything changed for me. All right. But knowing is only half the battle, right? G.I. Joe. Up next, I'll walk you through how to make that shift, because only action reprograms your inner narrative. All right. Sitting around reading books and not doing fuck all about it isn't going to change shit. All right. guys, I mentioned we had our beer club hangout last night, beer.comeonmanpod.com. You missed it. I was on the call for like 2.5 hours. It was a really good call. And man, it was active. And we have so many new guys in the group. This week, we gained a whole bunch of new members. We're almost at 60 members now. And most of the guys were guys who were in the group like last year and they came back. Right. So these are guys that knew the value of the group. They left for whatever reason. Some guys had monetary issues, like whatever, but they came back because they know the value of hanging out with like-minded men and how doing it together helps you get further faster. Right. So join the beer club. That way next month, you don't miss the hangout. You're already in there. Okay. Go to beer.comeonmanpod.com and do that. And then guys, if you want to work with me, I am helping guys in dead bedroom situations right now. And now I'm also planning on helping guys get over their ex after divorce. Okay. So I'm going to be doing some breakup and divorce recovery type work now. Book a call with me. If that's you, you're in this kind of situation, whether your wife doesn't want to bang you anymore and you want to turn that around, or you can't stop thinking about your ex, but you know you need to move on, I can help you through that, okay? Book a call with me. Go to call.fixdeadbedrooms.com for that. All right. I will recommend that you guys check out my book. I will recommend that. But, book the call and then you can, check out the book later. But I really want to make sure that the work we do together gets you where you want to be. Okay. And then reading the book and doing the workbook and working with me together, all that will compound and you will get results much faster if you do all that. All right. Let's wrap up in the final segment. Let's talk about the path to becoming grounded and stable from chaos to command. All right. Everything that you're going to do, if you want to change this, will come down to awareness. I'm a big proponent of the law of attraction. I think even if you want to take the mysticism out of it, it's a excellent framework to be constantly focusing on the positive in things and rewiring your mind to be focused on things that you actually want in life and not what you don't want. Okay. And all of that comes down to awareness, because if you're constantly focused on trying to stay positive and focus on the positive, you're going to be more aware of the thoughts that bubble up into your head. And when it's something that goes against what you want to do, right? It's more of a negative thing. That awareness will allow you to catch it and reject it, right? But most people are operating on autopilot. They just tiptoe through life hoping they'll make it safely to death. They aren't aware of their inner workings. They're just responding to emotions, and all of it's habit-based. But if you want to change all this stuff, the first step is awareness. You got to be aware of your negative reaction to things. You got to be aware of your unconscious bias to things, all the kind of things that tend to repel people. You got to develop an awareness of this. And once you're aware of it, now you can identify it, replace it, and then reinforce that replacement with something other than, right? So instead of negativity, you want to flip it around and make it a positive and focus on that positive, right? So awareness, identification, replacement, reinforcement is very similar to what Ryan Stone talks about in Frame when he talks about OODA loops. If you guys aren't familiar with OODA loops, stands for OODA. It's an acronym. It was developed by like an Air Force pilot, and what he wanted to do is be able to train fighter pilots to be able to make decisions quickly and create actions, right? And you have to think of it from a fighter pilot's standpoint. They are operating at speed so fast that they don't have time to react to things, right? They have to make decisions very quickly. So OODA loop was developed to allow them to do that. And so that stands for observe, orient, decide, act. Okay. So it goes hand in hand with this, right? You observe, you have to become aware of your negative programming. Okay. Identification. So observe, orient. So you need to like orient yourself or in the direction that you want to go instead, right? Replacement is where you decide, I'm deciding to act this way going forward. I'm deciding to to program my mind with this paradigm going forward. And then reinforcement with OODA loop would be your action. You take that action in that direction. Okay. Now, the thing with OODA loop is, let's say you observe, orient, decide, act, and you're going in this direction now, as opposed to this direction where you're not getting the results you want. When you're going in this direction, you want to evaluate if this is getting you the results you want as well. If not, then you redo the OODA loop, right? You observe your current situation, right? You orient yourself, you decide and act in a different way. And you eventually will get to your goal, whatever that goal is. That's how OODA loops will work for you, okay? How to spot disempowering paradigms, right? Internal narratives around worthiness, validation, rejection, stuff like that. We have to be aware of it first, right? So how do we identify this kind of stuff? Well, you're going to really want to watch your default thoughts during stress or conflict, right? It's real easy to maintain frame when everything's hunky-dory and nice going on, okay? When you're being challenged, when something stressful comes up, that's when the real you is going to come out. That's why women shit test you. Women will purposefully put you in a situation to cause tension to see how you react in a real situation. That's what a shit test is, right? So, let's see. If you watch your default thoughts during stress or conflict, right? Do you think I'm not enough, or I always mess up, or they always leave me? That's one of the things that I think, our beer club brother that I was talking about at the beginning, he always has this mindset of like women are always going to cheat, right? That's because he watches too much red pill content, negative red pill content, I should say. Right. So he's always worried that whatever his girl's doing, it's not on the up and up, and that she's probably, looking to trade up and stuff like that. Well, if that's your constant thought process, you're actually going to push your girl in that direction. You're going to push her that way. Right. That's why guys who, if every girl that they've ever been with has cheated on them, it's them. Like, they're the common denominator there. They are doing something in a way that pushes their girl to actually go and find someone else and cheat, right? These automatic scripts reveal hidden beliefs about worthiness and rejection. Okay, so if you find yourself in a situation where a situation comes up, and then you get these negative thoughts like I'm not enough, I always mess up, they'll leave me, or whatever. That's now you have the negative paradigm that you're working with there, right? That's one thing that you can identify. If you're going to want to notice if you're out seeking approval or avoiding any kind of truth, right? Do you shape your words and actions to avoid disapproval or tension? Right? Let's say you're at work, there's a guy at my work who, if he ever makes a mistake, I've never really seen him actually own it. He's always, when he makes a mistake, instead of just owning it, saying, yeah, that's my bad, I'll fix that going forward, which people respect. He immediately starts placing blame and starts showing you like 15 screenshots about why it's someone else's problem. It's like, I don't care about any of that shit. Like, you did this action. Let's focus on this action here. I don't care about any of this shit. Okay. This can't happen. Right. So if you are that kind of guy who is always deflecting and not taking ownership and all that kind of stuff, you have some kind of deeply held paradigm that you need to work through. Okay. And a lot of it is you don't want other people to see you in a bad light. Like, you can't stand having someone see you as someone who makes mistakes. Right. So ends up kind of being in a way validation seeking, and you have this paradigm that's running your show. Okay. I recommend, and I talk about it, I have a whole chapter on ownership in psychology paradigm, where like you want to own everything in your world. Like, I'm talking about extreme ownership. And I learned that from Jocko Willink. Like, he wrote an excellent book that I recommend everybody read called Extreme Ownership. And it's about you owning everything in your world, even the good and the bad. Like, what could I have done better? Right. Doesn't, like, some people might do shitty stuff, but you can't control other people. You can only control yourself and how you show up and how you react to people. Okay. But if you mess up, take ownership of that. Be like, I messed up. Like, I really screwed up here. I don't have any excuses. Right. identify patterns that you keep repeating in relationships, right? Do people always seem to lose interest, or do you chase when they pull away? Recurring outcomes reflect deep subconscious beliefs you haven't rewritten yet. That's how I realized after my breakup with Red Pill Chick, because that went a very similar direction as my marriage. It just went faster. Thank God. Thank God it ended quickly. I would say relatively quickly, right? 4.5 years we were together. It ended relatively quickly compared to my marriage, but I recognized the same patterns, right? I had these deep subconscious paradigms that were running my relationship game, and they were failing. They weren't working. And so that's how I identify them, by starting to read some of these books and studying this stuff and working with some of the best guys in the space. I started identifying this stuff, and I realized, oh crap, like these are the areas I really need to work on and change, right? So how do you install empowering paradigms? Things that will make you more attractive to people, things that will help you in relationships. My favorite thing on the planet are affirmations. My good friend Aaron Clary doesn't like affirmations. He thinks they're silly, and he makes fun of me for doing them. And he always does the Stuart Smalley from Saturday Night Live, like I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about with affirmations. Affirmations work, right? They're affirmative statements that are direct commands to your subconscious mind, that if you repeat them often enough and you have an emotional charge behind them, you will reprogram your deep-seated subconscious beliefs and habits. Okay. I also recommend that if you are hanging around a bunch of negative people, or people that sort of, like I say, like I limit my time with my parents, right? Because they are such negative people. I recommend you hang out with better people, right? You're a product of your close you're a product of your closest 5 friends. You're a product of your closest 5 friends. Have you ever heard that before? Right? If you want to be rich, but you're hanging around with 5 brokies, you're going to be the 6th brokey. You're never going to be rich. Okay. If you suck in relationships and your wife hates your guts, all right, and you hang around with, you go to the bar to get away from your wife, and you're hanging around with a bunch of other guys at the bar that don't know fuck all about relationships, and there's 5 guys at the bar and they all suck at relationships, you are the 6th guy that sucks at relationships. Okay. You want to hang around with better people. That's one of the reasons why I created my beer club. Okay. And you want action-based proof loops, right? Step outside your comfort zone and challenge your self-limiting beliefs a little bit, right? The only way you're going to challenge your self-limiting beliefs, in your self-limiting beliefs, if you don't know what they are, is any kind of belief that you currently have that's holding you back. Like if you think that no woman will ever love you for who you are, that's a self-limiting belief. Okay. If you think that there's no good women out there, that's a self-limiting belief, right? It's holding you back in life. Okay. If you are in a marriage right now, and your wife's been cold for a long time, and you don't believe that you could turn things around, that's a self-limiting belief, right? The only way out is divorce. Like that's not true. That's fundamentally not true. I know plenty of guys, I've helped plenty of guys turn their relationships around. Okay. So that's all self-limiting beliefs. So in order to get over your self-limiting beliefs, you have to challenge your self-limiting belief, right? There's a really great story in Dating Essentials for Men. It's one of my my holy trinity of dating books. But Dating Essentials for Men, there was a guy who was like, I can't go out to the bars alone. People will think I'm weird and creepy. And Dr. Robert Glover's like, that's a complete self-limiting belief. Like no one's going to give a shit that you're out at the bars alone. And he's like, I want you to challenge that tonight. Right. So what was happening was Dr. Robert Glover was hosting an event down in Mexico. And so that night, that guy went to a bar down by the beach in Mexico. And he was having dinner alone, having a drink, and he struck up a conversation with this couple that was sitting next to him, and like they didn't think he was creepy at all. And then he met this nice chick walking around on the like the boardwalk, and he ended up spending the rest of the night with that chick. on the boardwalk. And then he came back to the group the next day and he's like, oh, I guess I blew that self-limiting belief out of the water, because he challenged the self-limiting belief. He believed if he went out by himself, people would think he's creepy, and no one thought he was creepy. And he ended up meeting a girl, right? Anything that's holding you back is a self-limiting belief. You got to cut that shit out and challenge that stuff. That's how you're going to move forward, okay? Habits that stabilize your emotional and mental state daily, right? So if you want to change these patterns, you have to be really intentional about it, right? Start creating new daily habits to reprogram this, right? You could do a morning cold shower followed by journaling 3 wins from the day before, right? That's one thing you could do. You could set a daily boundary with someone, even a small one, and then sticking to it. That's something that you could do. Like, that's something you could do in your relationship. If you know that setting and enforcing boundaries is one of your weaknesses, you need to create a daily activity of, I'm going to set a boundary today and I'm going to enforce that boundary, right? You can lead a group conversation without needing to dominate or please people. Okay, that's something you could do, right? My daily activities, one of the things that I do is I get up every morning, and the first thing I do is I make a cup of coffee. I sit down, I take my supplements, and then I write out a whole page of whys, like why I do what I do, like why I love doing this podcast, right? Whatever. I come up with my list of whys. And then I will write out a page of affirmations, or I'll write out a story of my life in the future in present tense. These are all things to help reprogram my subconscious to believe in myself and my business and whatever it is, like my goals in life, right? That's something that I do, right? You could do something like that as well. If you guys get forget that bitch, or you guys get her to fuck you again, I've created workbooks for that go hand in hand with these books. They have daily activities that you could do where you just sit down. It takes you like 10 minutes. You just, journal out there's a question and you journal it out. You know, that kind of stuff will help bubble up self-limiting beliefs, and it'll help you challenge that stuff. And then there's weekly challenges that you could do. Okay. You can understand the concept of paradigms and you still may be stuck though, right? You've probably heard of ideas like reprogram your mind before, yet applying them day to day often feels vague and overwhelming. And that's because no one gives you the real step-by-step roadmap. Okay. You try new habits, mantras, mindset shifts, but eventually you fall back into those same old patterns. And without structure, without clear guidance, your subconscious defaults to the negativity all the time. Okay. Surface level knowledge won't uproot deeply wired beliefs. And this is why change feels temporary for a lot of people, right? People don't believe that this is the new you. And even people that are doing this stuff don't necessarily believe this is the new them. Okay. That's exactly why I wrote Psychology Paradigm, right? It's not bullshit. It's the exact framework to uncover hidden paradigms, break them down, and replace them with ones that anchor you in strength, right? What we're covering here today, it's powerful, it's useful, but the book takes you way deeper, gives you exercises and principles that you can revisit and actually live out, right? And if you're serious about becoming stable, unshakable, and respected, this is your roadmap. Okay. You're going to want to get this one. And until you change you, all your relationships will be mirrors of instability. So change yourself and people will start aligning effortlessly, right? They'll start operating within your frame, but you got to do that work first. All right. And you have a choice. You have a choice. You can keep winging it and hoping people will stay in your life and hope that your relationships will work out. Or you can become the man who naturally anchors others just by who he is. He has that dominant masculine presence. Okay. If you're ready, get the book. All right. Get the book. And then if you want to work with me directly, book a call. go to call.fixeddeadbedrooms.com, okay? Because that's where like real transformation gets serious. All right. Links in the description for that kind of stuff. What do we got here in the chat? All right. I don't see any super chats here. So let's go ahead and wrap up. Guys, tune into the podcast on Monday. We're going to be talking about why emotional intelligence is the secret ingredient to love. All right. Oh, doesn't that sound so mainstream? Don't worry. I'll fuck that up. I'll make it interesting for you guys. Guys, like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thanks to everyone that sounded off in the live chat. I really appreciate you. No super chats today. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. All right. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description. Get the ebook. She's Made You Weak. The first link in the description for that. Otherwise, get all my books. Remember, Forget That Bitch comes out June 6th, but you can pre-order the Kindle edition now. If you go to books.comeonmanpod.com, that will take you to my Amazon authors page. Get in Beer Club. Don't miss another hangout. All right. We also do monthly pod classes now, which we just did last Saturday. So we'll do another one at the end of the month. If you guys want to get in there, it's only $10 a month. Okay. It's a great group of guys. The Telegram community is hopping all the time. Guys are in there leveling up, swapping notes. Excellent group of guys. You won't regret joining. All right. And then if you guys want to work with me one-on-one, book a call, go to call.fixeddeadbedrooms.com. That's all I got. Hold on. I see. Oh, God damn it. CW sent $2 to demonetize me. All right, fine. I will give you the shaking booty video. No, I'm going to give you the bouncing tatas video. Let's go for the gusto here.
Thank you for the super chats. Boobies bouncing, can't stop that. From the east to the west, you are the best. Keep those chats coming in, let's do it all again.
Oh man, and then Brother Omega sent a $4.99. Get in Beer Club, level up. Yes, I concur with that. I'll give you the shaking booty video.
Super chat, we see you there. Shake it, dance without a care. Send it love from everywhere. Groovy beats we all can share. Your support is so divine. Moving closer to the line. Thank you, you're the best. Party on, we never rest.
All right. We'll see you guys on Monday.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.